you're not wealthy, you're not welcome in this country.
A new change in immigration policy called the Public Charge Rule aims to further restrict immigrants from getting legal status in the U.S. if there's a chance they'll use public benefits at any time in the future.
It's not something that is necessary for any reason except to cause fear and to discriminate.
Although lawsuits nationwide are challenging this Trump administration proposal in the courts, a chilling effect has led some legal immigrants to opt out of benefits they're entitled to because they're scared. Right now we're in the Coachella Valley, which is synonymous for partying and music at their yearly festival, but we are heading to one of the fields where a lot of the immigrant community here has worked for generations. Thank you for talking to me today. This is an undocumented farm worker in her 20s who requested we conceal her identity. Every day she works here in these fields, picking dates. When did you move to the United States?
My parents brought me when I was 2 years old.
So do you remember even being in Mexico?
No, I don't remember anything. I went to school here, I graduated here, and I have my daughter and my husband here. My whole life is here.
And you feel just as American as anybody else?
Yes.
Tell me about when you graduated from high school. What was your dream?
To become a nurse.
And did you start that process?
Yes. I went to college for 3 years, but with the president administration for the public charge, well, I decided to stop because I don't want to become a public charge like he says.
Even though technically that actually wouldn't necessarily apply to you, you know that, right?
Yeah. Well, because he always changes his mind. It's like, you know, like he says that he wanted to remove DACA. It's hard.
You pulled your daughter out of her health benefits.
Yes.
That must have been a really difficult decision.
Yeah, and most because like 2 weeks ago, I took her to a doctor and he told me that she might have lupus, and well, I don't know what am I gonna do.
And now your daughter doesn't have health insurance?
No.
And she's a US citizen?
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot with parents who are deciding to pull their kids out of their health insurance?
Yes.
So this isn't just you?
There's a lot of people.
And is it because of the fear?
Yes.
Right now, applicants for legal status have to prove government assistance won't be their main source of income. The Trump administration wants to greatly expand what's considered benefits, including housing assistance and Medicaid for adults. Gita Schwartz is one of the attorneys fighting to prevent this new public charge policy from becoming law. An analysis by the Center for Constitutional Rights estimates as many as 3 million people in immigrant families will disenroll or opt out of Medicaid due to fear of being impacted by this rule, even though they'd keep eligibility.
That U.S. citizen child is entitled to those benefits, and it should not affect her mom's application for status at all in the future. Many, many, many more people are withdrawing for benefits or fear that they will lose their chance at status, even though they are not directly affected by this rule.
And there are a lot of people who are watching this thinking we need to focus on strengthening the country. What would you say to them?
That they're really wrong, because thanks to us, they get their food in their table.
Talk of this public charge rule heated up in August when the Trump administration announced a renewed enforcement.
Throughout our history, self-reliance has been a core principle in America.
Trump's top immigration official Ken Cuccinelli even added his own amendment to that famous poem on the base of the Statue of Liberty.
Give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge. Right now I'm heading to the Todek Legal Center, which is holding a workshop to educate immigrants here about their rights.
Porque lo que no queremos es que se salgan de beneficios, especialmente las personas que están enfermas.
This is Luz Gallegos, the Community Programs Director for the Todek Legal Center. Ever since the policy was announced, she's been holding these weekly workshops.
Public charge is affecting our community tremendously to the point that we have seen legal permanent residents that they're totally exempt from this rule, fear for their safety here in the United States. Entonces es bien importante entender lo que en realidad es la carga pública, porque no queremos crear más miedo. We had a situation last Monday when a mother called me at 5 in the morning crying that she didn't want to call the ambulance, she didn't want to call the police. She found her son trying to attempt suicide. When I talked to this young boy, I'm like, why did you do this? He has leukemia. And basically what he said is, I know I'm gonna die. die. But I don't want, because of me receiving benefits, that it'll affect my parents' well-being here in this country.
There have also been reports that the fear has spread to the public education system here.
We work with schools that are telling us that, that some of their classrooms are empty because the parents they think a school is a public benefit.
Fear has caused some hysteria, it sounds like.
Yes, the fear has caused a lot of confusion with community that they don't know if they should continue with benefits, continue sending their kids to school.
You've lived in this community your entire life. Have you ever seen this level of fear?
No.
Como yo estoy deshabilitada, agarro seguro social, en disability. ¿Eso es una carga pública?
¿Tú ya eres residente?
Yo soy residente,
Okay.
¿me cuenta como carga pública?
No, como eres residente no te cuenta.
Oh.
Pero fíjate, ese es el temor. The rhetoric and the division and everything that comes along with it. I'm sorry, it's just getting really, I don't want to cry. So let me just calm down a little bit.
How do you expect this rule to actually change the landscape of immigration in the United States?
The government is deciding that what they're going to do is see if there's a possibility anytime in the future you might need Medicaid, a possibility anytime in the future you might need food stamps. Then they're going to say, you could be a public charge and we're going to deny you status. Typically, you have to have been a lawful permanent resident for 5 years before you're even eligible to access those benefits. So the idea that undocumented people are somehow taking public benefits, it's simply not true.
This man worked in these fields for over 40 years. He's a permanent resident with a green card, yet even he has dropped his benefits. So once you heard about this public charge change in policy, you decided to disenroll from your benefits?
Sí causa temor a la comunidad de los latinos, dar una vida, pagar impuestos diariamente y tener el temor de usar los beneficios de médicos o ayudas. Es muy triste venir a dejar una vida a este país y no recibir algo de lo que tú cosechaste, recibir una ayuda al alcance de tus trabajos.
We cannot let fear take over us. We need to turn this trauma into strength and energy.
Citizens are not benefited by their children going to school with kids who don't have medical care because their parents are fearful that their status will be jeopardized.
We do see a better horizon for our communities because we have faith in God and we have faith that the courts will really see the injustice of what this administration plans to cause and has caused and will continue to cause to our communities.
On October 11th, 3 federal judges in California, New York, and Washington state issued preliminary injunctions temporarily blocking the Trump administration from enforcing the rule. But with the government likely to appeal, the fight is far from over. Ken Cuccinelli said in a statement to CNN, "Long-standing federal law requires aliens to rely on their own capabilities and the resources of their families, sponsors, and private organizations in their communities to succeed. An objective judiciary will see that this rule lies squarely within long-held existing law."